I'm Felicia Shakiba, and this is Leaderbook AI, where we solve a business challenge in every episode.
So it starts with that sort of, what do I do? So I download Claude, and here's the very simple advice I'm trying to give to as many people as I can. The very first thing I did, I could pull it up in my Claude history, right, is help me set up my preferences. Just ask it how to use it, right? And then, like, what is it? What is a project? What is co-work? What is a skill? What is an artifact? What are these things? Like, I don't know. And a couple of weeks later, I was sitting down with someone in our company, and this person was asking me, "How have you done so much?" And I was like, "I haven't. All I've done is ask questions. I still don't understand half of what I'm doing, but I'm just asking questions." And so I then had I think I might have asked it, like, "What should I do with you?" And it said something like, "Why don't you ask me to summarize your inbox or summarize your calendar, like the basics, right?" And then I just said, "Look, I kind of have this idea, since we're sat here, about building an app that would help us to explain to customers the business value of some of the things that we do for them. That would be quite useful. How should I start?" And it asked me some questions, and I answered them. And it said, it was sort of validating the idea. And then I was like, okay, so if I wanted to turn this into a project, what would be an infrastructure? I've heard of Lovable. I've heard of that. Like, is that useful? Should I use that? Are there other things that I should use? And it brought up some options. And I said, oh, well, help me choose between them. So it broke it down, and I chose something else, as it happens, Replit. And like it just carried on like that. So then I was like, give me a prompt to put into Replits. And I'll just copy, paste. And that was the first week. And then it just evolved from there. But it was just curiosity and questions. And you see, what I've definitely seen in myself and others is this sort of fear of the unknown. So, I'll sort of pause to let you ask some questions in a moment.
No, I'm listening. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Well, so there was a moment, right, which was someone said to me, "Have you used Claude Code?" And I said, "No, that's not for me. I'm not up to that. Right, it's not my background. I've worked next to and alongside and closely with product managers and engineers for most of my career, but I have not been one. I have not written code before. I mean, I think I might have learned some Easy Basic or something when I was 15, and there will be lots of people on this call who have no idea what that is. But like, I mean, I got to a Hello World, and that was about it. So I thought Claude Code's not for me. But then someone said, you really got to try it. So I was like, slightly with some trepidation, I went to that little slider on the top of Claude, just past co-work, to that forbidden ground of, and then clicked, and to see what would happen, and started to just ask it the same questions, like, how does this work? What should I do with you? And then I found myself starting to copy paste things into Terminal instead of into Replit, and the language became even more hard to understand. Like, I didn't actually know what grep that. Now I start to understand what some of it is, but only a few weeks later, it's just pattern recognition. But mostly I was just copy pasting. But suddenly things started to get built, and then I read a lot on Twitter and LinkedIn. For me, the enormous unlock was finding Gary Tan's G Stack, he calls it. So suddenly I have a GitHub account, and I know what GitHub is. And so I found his GitHub account, and it says, copy and paste this into Claude to install it. Fine, do that. See how much I'm just copying and pasting. Right, do that. And then suddenly you've got almost these digital people, right? So for the other people who were like me 6 weeks ago, who think this sounds sort of crazy, like the metaphor suddenly with this G Stack thing is, it's like you've got a senior engineer, a senior designer, a peer CEO, someone from Y Combinator, in your Claude Code stack. So you just do backslash office hours, and it's like having someone from Y Combinator question you, like, why do you want to build this? Who is it for? And those kinds of things. And you just work through a project methodically with like an expert in your pocket each time.
Visit us at LeaderbookAI. Your support as a subscriber means the world to us. So thank you for tuning in. I'm Felicia Shakiba. Let's connect on LinkedIn.